Oh my goodness. I just came here on Zoom is how I do these. And they've just added some new features. Like Zoom keeps updating and updating. And to me, all these updates just extra buttons. They're extra buttons that just get on my nerves. Good morning. We won't start out that way. It's all technology stuff. I'm James Lott Jr. This is JLJ this morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I'm typing in the chat room. Anybody wants to come in and join me. Make sure that's up. Just Zoom is doing all these updates, and to me they're unnecessary. I mean, and I guess they try to do some privacy stuff or whatever, but it's just like just more buttons for us, and they're moving things around, and just oh my God, good morning, folks. I have my cafe. My hair is combed. I'm actually wearing a shirt today. It's like to go live again. I get people tell me all the time what they want to hear from me. They tell me what they want me to do. And so I've gotten several requests to talk about dating. I'm not a dating expert, not at all. I have friends who are. They do great jobs. I have my shows. They're great. But they want to hear about what's going on, my feelings, what's going on with me. And, I'm very transparent. My hair is a little crazy still. I haven't had a shower yet. So I took the trash out this morning, made coffee, did a little bit of cleaning up. Did my meditation this morning, so I did all that. People want to hear, people ask me, I get these little DMs, so you should talk about this, talk about that. Okay, so I'll talk about dating. I mean, I don't really talk about it very much. Probably one of the few times I will talk about it. Because it's not fun. I heard from someone, they said, James, you always seem optimistic. You go back out there, you get right out there, you keep trying. I'm an eternal optimist. That's probably why I have the show, JLJ This Morning, and other things I do. Deep down, I like to think positive, and that things will happen if you work hard enough and hope hard enough, and as long as you're alive, right? You just try. So like when it comes to dating, I hate it. I'm not a big fan of it. I say, never, I'm doing it for a while. I take breaks, and I come back. I always come back to it. I think that in the end, I always hope that I find love at some point. I hope I do. Be very nice to have that in my life. That's one of the few things that's missing in my life. I'm a partner, I have love for other people in my life, but I'm missing that. And so it's hard to admit it out loud, but I have no problem in that. It is. And it's funny because this pandemic was very interesting. Good morning, Kirsten. Was very interesting because people were still kind of dating. I was like, how are you still dating in a pandemic? In a lockdown. And people were still getting married. I saw people getting together. I'm like, how is that happening? And I mean, I'm like, it's hard enough pre-pandemic. Like, how are people doing during the pandemic? So there were several of us who were sitting on the sidelines going, it's not happening for us. Because I'll tell you, I did try. I was on a few apps, that, and I stayed on them through the pandemic. And actually, I'll admit this: the apps that I was on kept me sane a little bit because I was able to talk to you, meet people, you talk to them. A lot of other folks on there were doing the same. People weren't meeting up in person. They were, because this is when we had the lockdown. It was running rampant, but there were people talking to each other for connection. And that was really, I made some really good connections last year, not love matches, but connections, where we started off on the app, maybe switch to FaceTime or phone or WhatsApp or whatever. And it was actually nice. People were reaching out because a lot of us were stuck at home. A lot of us didn't have jobs. Many people out there didn't have money at work, or they were afraid, or had compromised immune systems like myself. And a lot of them were at home, and a lot of people were just lonely. I started my show, Talk a Lot with James Lott Jr., because of that. Because I thought late at night is when your brain goes to overdrive. I always say the city gets quiet, the noises in your head get louder. And so I said, I'm going to start this. And I did it for 100 and something episodes last year. Late night, 10 p.m. For a while, I was doing it every night. Then I was doing it 5 nights a week. And, I was doing it every other night. But that was something I thought people are at home and they're lonely, and they want connection. They're missing human connection, and so online actually was decent. It was like it actually kind of facilitated that. But the actually logistics of actual dating, that part was scary because on some level you were forced to get to know somebody first, which is never a bad thing. That's never a bad thing. But then it was like, well, then how do we? I just thought we'll never have sex again. We'll never have kissing again. We'll never have hugging. I mean, it seems so dire and bleak last year that it was such uncharted territory. It's like, how does this even, do you get COVID tests before you beat up? Like, it was such a weird situation that we were all going through. It wasn't just unique to me or me in LA or whatever. So that's what was crazy about that. So, but I didn't, I mean, I met some people last year, but nothing came out of any of that stuff last year. Well, then the vaccine came out this year. It started people getting vaccinated, and it was starting to subside. And well, now with the Delta variant, but still, it was starting to subside. And especially here in Los Angeles, because it was so bad in Los Angeles, that it was starting to, talk about Lott Jr. It was like, okay, people are starting to actually meet up again. And some people in safer ways. There's ways you can do it. You can wear your mask. Get COVID tests. You both vaccinated. Like all these things, just where you're working on stuff. Places were opening back up, so you can actually go on a date. But I'll tell you also, it also helps still because I don't be in crowded places. It still helps you get creative. Just like here in my business, in the industry, getting creative on how you will meet up, what kind of dates, what do dates look like. Phone dates count now, and the other things, everything is counts now. That just what things I count for. But the one thing that's still to say, let me take a sip of my coffee first before I say this. It's still as shady and crazy as ever. Dating in Los Angeles is a trip. Now, and I've talked to people who are gay, straight, bi, tri, cry, whatever. They all say the same thing. That's the one thing that's universal. Black, white, Puerto Rican, everybody's just a freaking whatever. Everybody. I said it. It's not just me. It's everyone saying it. Who's out there? Different ages. They're all saying how dating is in LA, and I had to learn from a friend of mine kind of some of the new rules, new acceptable things that are happening. I'm an old guy. I mean, I look like this young thing, but I'm an old guy. And dating back in the day was so much fun. You had bad dates. You had things that came up, but it was a fun thing. That everybody was dating. We were having a good time. We're out there trying to find the one. And sometimes you'd find somebody and they become, your partner, and you're with them for a while. It was just, and you go on to the next one. And I don't know, maybe because I was younger, maybe it was a different time period. We had less distractions. I don't know. It just seemed more fun. I started dating in the mid 80s. So I've been dating nearly 40 years, right? Over 30 something years. So I've seen how it's changed, and, dating through AIDS, dating through big booms, big busts, dating in San Francisco, dating in other cities, dating in Los Angeles. So I have a very, I'm not an expert at all. I'm not an expert. Because clearly I don't have a relationship. So, but I just know that it's tough, especially if you're changing too, if you're changing and growing and shifting what you attract. I always say you attract what you call into your life. It's for a reason, for a lesson, or for a reason. You may start attracting new type of people. I know there's times I'm attracting some of the same people from my past self. And I clearly was like, ooh, I don't want them. It does not work. That's where I used to was. I'm not there anymore. So I've learned that. It's very interesting. So now I'm at this place. I had to learn the big thing I had to learn about was ghosting. That was the big thing I had to learn about. And I mean ghosting in the sense of not you hit each other up and then you decide, well, I'm not really into you, and you go away. It's that you have the long, beautiful, soul-searching conversation. You guys are connecting on every level, or you feel like you are, and you just it's just one of you talk for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. It's great. Oh my goodness! You do it a couple of times, and all of a sudden, crickets. And now I said, that's interesting because I just know in the past for me, when that happened, it usually turned into some kind of relationship. The ones you didn't talk that much to, they die off. People die, I mean like died, like really die. But like, I mean, they just kind of, you both kind of decide, yeah, they're not for me, not for me. There's going to be a big conversation. You just kind of both understand you're not for each other. You stop calling or texting or messaging. You can usually tell. But these are the ones I'm talking about where you think, wow, I've met somebody is amazing. And then so I had to learn that's normal. And that's normal, that's acceptable. And I don't like it, but that's what it is. And so now we're at the space where there's this Delta variant. It's a little strange. But if you're vaccinated, chances are you could survive it. And it's a little different. And it's COVID testing still. And I never had COVID, never got it this whole year and a half. I haven't got sick this whole year. I'm very fortunate. That dating is starting to come back again. It depends on the person I've talked to. There are people who are still afraid to meet up, and there are those who are ready to go full in. So it's a little bit of both. It's still hard in LA. You have to really go in with a thick skin, in my opinion, with a thick skin, but also stay open. And how do you do that? You have to figure out a way. That's up to you to figure out how to do that. No advice here. Just I've learned that you have to go in still kind of optimistic or cautiously optimistic. You want to stay open to receive something good and positive without having at least 10,000 walls up. That doesn't really work. You want to be able to be open so that you can communicate and true chemistry comes through. That I do know for sure. Also kind of just watching, kind of just like I always say, I don't look for trouble unless it's right in front of my face. I don't look for trouble. I'm not looking for red flags. Some folks go that direction. I don't. I just go in and treat everybody the same. And you shouldn't have expectations, but I know I have some. If it's a good connection, I have some. But I just talk and just to know each other. And see, for me, I'm an interviewer by trade. I do hosting. I interview people. So I have to be careful. I try to watch myself and not bring that into the courtship process. We'll say it that way, where I'm just like, okay, so when you were 5 years old, you blah, blah, blah. And so, and I try to do that. I try to use it. I try to still keep it natural. A lot of times I want to ask a lot of questions at first. I let them ask a lot of questions and I'll answer them. So at least they feel like they get to know who I am a little bit and they feel comfortable. And then I may go, okay, well then. So being an interviewer and being able to interview people, it does help for me because I know I can ask certain questions to get certain things out. I know how to approach things. How people feel comfortable. But I try not to be like, I'm not going to be Barbara Walters, or Larry King or whatever. Right? When I first, so we tell me when you were 5 years old, you did. I mean, I don't want to do that. That's like I'm not interviewing. I mean, I am interviewing, and that's the thing we have to remember. We are interviewing each other, but I don't want to come across as somebody who's interrogating you or interviewing you. So I always chuckle. That's always my thing. A couple of times it's happened. Like, oh, no one's ever called me out on it. But I don't want to. Then I have the other problem of people recognizing me. LA is small. I'm on this. I'm on podcasts. I'm all over the place. And so I get those who recognize me, and I have to be careful with that. So it's always nice to be somebody who doesn't know who the F I am. They're like, I don't know who you are. I've never heard you before. And I'm not offended whatsoever. I'm not an A-list celebrity. You shouldn't know who I am unless you like certain things. You go online, you'll see me. I love it because the problem is there's folks who, I always have to be careful. I don't just say I'm in entertainment and just start telling people stuff because that's another thing too in LA. Oh, I have a screenplay. Oh, I want to be an actor. Oh, I want to be this. Can you help me? If something turns into a business transaction, and I'm like, no, I'm looking for a partner, I'm not here to help you get your business going or get you into acting. That's not what I'm here to interview. Now, mind you, I become friends with people I've met online and later have interviewed. I've interviewed my Uber drivers, two of them. years later. I mean, it's like, I mean, the thing is they can't, but I'm saying in the beginning, I am trying to get to know you on a personal level, um, for personal reasons. I'm not trying to mix that up together. And that's just, I mean, it's, there's like, I get you an acting job and you're like, bye, James, good knowing you. I don't leave with you. We're like, oh my goodness. And that's tough because also when you're on those apps, it's funny to see a lot of pictures are headshots. So it's funny. So it goes from either really horrible pictures where you just like, you pick that picture to the overproduced pictures of the headshots. You're like, you pick that picture. Maybe it's your best picture, I guess. I don't know. It makes you laugh. Again, I'm not an expert whatsoever. I'm just telling you my experiences. So I am out there. I am trying to find someone on some level. I'm not killing myself over it or anything. Meaning I'm not out there 24 hours. I'm not treating it like a second job or anything. Just so you know, I'm out there. And if someone comes along, be great. And I think it's one of those things where, again, I'm always cautiously optimistic. I'm still halfway decent looking. I'm only 52. I think I just got a few years left in me. But I'll tell you, being from the pandemic, I do miss affection. I haven't had any sex or anything in over a year and a half because of the pandemic. So there are things that I do miss as a man. I do miss. But that's something that hopefully will come in time too, hopefully. And that's the thing. I thought I heard somebody at my door. Not something I want to give up completely, not at all. So it's just going to be one of those things like the rest of you out there who are single, who are trying to find it. I guess my hope this talk was enough for the folks who asked me, they want me to talk about it. I didn't solve any problems or any issues. I just let you know I'm with you. I'm in solidarity with the single folks out there who want somebody. Now, there's single folks out there who are happy to be single. They don't want anybody. That's great. But I'm talking about the ones who actually want love, who want companionship, who want affection. I feel you. I'm with you. I have empathy with you. You're a single person in arms, single brother in arms. I'm here. And folks who are in couples have no idea, especially this last year and a half. When they said check on your single friends, you should have checked on your single friends. So I had friends who killed themselves over the last year because of depression. They were all alone. It's when you get home every night and you're alone by yourself. It's really tough. Sitting in bed by yourself, you have nobody next to you. There's nobody, it's friends are great and family's wonderful, but again, at night, usually when it's all quiet and you're alone in your room, that's when it can really hit. That's when depression can hit and the sadness can hit. And I have people who checked on me, and they know who they are, and I'm very happy and blessed to have them in my life. But those are times when you get really depressing. And I know a lot of folks split up because of the pandemic, because they were too much together. That's a whole other show. I can't talk about. I don't have a couple. I don't have anybody, so I can't speak on that. But I was telling you, the ones who are in relationships, who are relatively happy in relationships, just know that there are folks out there who aren't happy and who are single, who wish they had somebody. And just say hello to them, see how they're doing, figure them out. Don't feel sorry for them or anything like that, but just kind of say hi, give them some everything, just something nice for them, something nice for them at least, or something. That's my talk on dating. That's I probably won't talk about it again. I don't really do dating talks. I just think it's whatever it is, and that's it, I guess. JLJ this morning is on Twitter and Facebook. James Lott Jr. is everywhere else. And I will talk to all of you next time. Have a great day today. It's already getting warm in LA. I can see the sun is coming out already and getting warm. So wherever you are, be safe, and we'll see you next time.